Good to see you. Welcome back. How accurate do you think this report is?
You know, it's so funny. I have a hard time right now accepting almost anything that these government agencies are coming out with just because the data has been so bad. And so let me just share a couple of thoughts that might not be as transparent off the top. So yes, we did see an increase here in sentiment, quote unquote, from last month. Now, that's still 15% below where we were last year. So this is not like some massive improvement. We're doing so much better. Look at how we've come. This is also saying that, you know, in the short term, we're expecting lower inflation, but in the long term, slightly more. How can the two be the, you know, the same truth right now as we sit here with, you know, over 25% increases to our cost of living and expenses, which is essentially just tapped out America. So I don't believe this report very much as well. In fact, I think it's interesting. It says sentiment now is 40% above its June 22 low. And so what's interesting is these seem like a lot of very biased talking points coming from the government agency, because it concludes and says this: a growing share of both Republicans and Democrats now anticipate a Harris win. Let me share something. This took place prior to the debate that just happened on Tuesday. This was conducted last month. How in the world was Harris in the lead when this is the most unpopular vice president in the U.S. history? That's just not true. And so I don't believe this report is reflecting something accurately. I think this is just more election year weird stuff as we get closer and closer by the day.
That is called propaganda, my friend. All right, let's talk about the cost. You mentioned that it rose over 20%. The cost of food itself is up over 21%. Energy up almost 32%. Shelter costs up nearly 23% under this administration. Rents following close behind. That's all according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So what was the boost in consumer sentiment driven by, or do you think it's just all fake?
I don't believe that consumers were actually saying that everything's so improved. In fact, I mean, if you really look at the time frame here in August, I think that we were looking at more volatility in the market with that Volmageddon Day, August 5th. You know, obviously we just finished like the weirdest July ever. So, but although the RNC, I guess, was maybe more aligned than what I've seen, we then had the DNC happen here in August. And again, I just didn't see Kamala leading in those polls in such a massive way. I think consumers are concerned about elections, that's for sure. I think consumers are concerned about the price at the pump because they've been ultimately financing inflation with credit cards. And we've blown through our $2.9 trillion of savings that we had in 2022. Remember all the stimulus money? We paid down those cards because no one wants them. Well, we saved up a bunch of money, spent all that. And so, you know, no one thinks that putting anything on a credit card and paying 25% plus is a good way to finance it. I'm actually extremely concerned about what this means for our future, given the fact that our GDP is 70% based on how the consumer's doing. So I think the consumer's doing terrible right now. And, you know, but if you've got a bunch of money in the stock market, you know, you might feel okay because prices keep going up.
For all our viewers asking where One America News